Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay has extended support to the Bureau of Local Government Finance during its enhanced local assessment manual training in Legazpi City. Through the provincial treasurers and assessors' offices, the province provided transportation assistance for the event. Around 80 treasurers and assessors joined the training, along with BLGF officials from the central and regional offices. Governor Noel Rizal also presented tokens of appreciation to the participants during the dinner hosted in partnership with local treasurers and assessors groups. Officials said the partnership underscores Albay's commitment to strengthening local fiscal management and governance. In other story, the provincial government of Albay is boosting sustainable agriculture through the distribution of free-range chickens to local farmers. The initiative, led by the Albay Provincial Agricultural Office in partnership with the Department of Agriculture, supports the province's organic agriculture program. It is aimed to help farmers shift to more organic and eco-friendly practices while providing additional livelihood opportunities. Officials said the program is part of Albay's continuing push for the greener and more sustainable future for both farmers and the community. In other news, the Albay Provincial Agricultural Office has organized a federation of taro growers and processors to boost the province's taro industry. The new federation aims to bring together individual farmers and processors to promote sustainable production and better market access. Officials said the initiative will help open more enterprise opportunities and improve coordination across the supply chain. Through this unified effort, Albay hopes to make its taro industry stronger, more profitable, and more sustainable for local farmers. In the national scene, the Senate Finance Committee has proposed adjustments to the 2026 national budget, reducing new appropriations by over 68.6 billion pesos. The Senate's proposed spending is set at 4.577 trillion pesos, down from the 4.646 trillion pesos approved by the House, while the total budget reaches 6.793 trillion pesos. 7.4% higher than last year's. Programmed funds remain at 4.402 trillion pesos, and unprogrammed funds are cut from 243.2 billion pesos to 174.6 billion pesos to improve accountability. Education receives the largest allocation at 1.38 trillion pesos, with the Department of Education's budget increasing to 992.7 billion pesos, meeting the UN benchmark of 4 to 6% of GDP. The Department of Health, including PhilHealth, is allocated 376.5 billion pesos for universal health care and zero balance billing. The Department of Social Welfare and Development will receive 230 billion pesos, including 8.2 billion pesos for social pensions. Funding for migrant workers under the Action Fund is doubled to 2.4 billion pesos. Defense spending is set at 385.97 billion pesos, with 90 billion pesos for AFP modernization. The Department of Science and Technology will receive 31.48 billion pesos, including scholarships for over 10,000 students. The Department of Trade and Industry is allocated 9.7 billion pesos for consumer protection and livelihood programs. Other increases include the offices of the President, Office of the Vice President, Congress, Finance, Foreign Affairs, Justice, Interior and Local Government, Tourism, and the Commission on Audit. Budget reductions affect agriculture, environment and natural resources, certain health programs, human settlements, labor, public works, and special purpose funds. The DPWH budget is 568.56 billion pesos, down 55.95 billion pesos, with projects now including station, bridge, and school identifiers for transparency. The Department of Transportation will receive 189.29 billion pesos. Allocations to local government units, the Miscellaneous Personnel Benefits Fund, and the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund are reduced, while the Contingent Fund and Pension and Gratuity Fund remain unchanged. The Climate Change Commission will receive an additional 55 million pesos to establish a roving climate change academy with schools and local governments. The Senate budget prioritizes education, health, social welfare, defense, science and technology, and support for migrant workers, while reducing discretionary funds to ensure responsible spending. In other story, a total of 25 local government officials left the Philippines despite the travel ban imposed by the Department of Interior and local government amid recent typhoons. Of these, 18 had obtained foreign travel authority, while 7 departed without proper approval, according to information cited by Malacanang. DILG Secretary John Vic Remulio confirmed that 24 officials may face administrative charges for violating the travel ban. DILG guidelines: the Secretary approves all foreign travel requests by local government officials, particularly for trips longer than 3 months or during emergencies, as stipulated in Memorandum Circular 2025-023. Philippine law mandates that local officials lead disaster relief and supervise local DRRMO operations. Officials found guilty of dereliction of duty may face fines of 50,000 to 500,000 pesos, imprisonment of 6 to 12 years, and in severe cases, perpetual disqualification from government service. In other news, the Department of Education has partnered with PLDT, Smart Communications, and the Central Visayan Institute Foundation to roll out the Dynamic Learning Program, or DLP, across the country. Developed in 2002 by Dr. Christopher Bernido, the DLP was designed to help schools facing limited resources, including shortages of teachers, textbooks, and classrooms. The program encourages independent learning through daily activity sheets, reduces reliance on lectures, and reinforces mastery through repetition and reflection. Its flexible approach has made it effective even in disrupted or low-resource environments. Over 1,000 schools have adapted the program, and more than 30,000 teachers have been trained. The DLP is adaptable to various learning settings, from basic education to alternative learning systems, indigenous education, and special needs programs. DepEd Secretary Sonny Angara emphasized that the program is especially relevant now, as climate disruptions and overcrowded classrooms make traditional schooling increasingly challenging. The DLP allows students to learn independently while helping teachers manage limited time and resources. The partnership aims to scale the program nationwide, improving student performance in key subjects such as science and mathematics, while promoting self-directed and resilient learning. And in the news outside the country, millions of refugees are caught in a cycle of conflict and climate extremes. The United Nations has warned, calling on COP30 to provide urgent support. United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees reports that within 15 years, areas hosting nearly half the world's refugees could face extreme climate risks, worsening vulnerabilities and driving displacements. By mid-2025, 117 million people had been displaced by war and violence, with 3 out of 4 living in high-risk countries. Over the past decade, weather-related disasters have triggered around 250 million internal displacements. Extreme heat, floods, and drought are destroying homes and livelihoods, forcing already vulnerable families to move again. By 2050, some refugee camps in Gambia, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Senegal, and Mali could face nearly 200 days of hazardous heat annually, and many can become uninhabitable. Funding shortfalls from major donors have limited UNHCR's ability to protect refugees, making urgent climate financing essential. Investment in environmental restoration could create jobs and strengthen local resilience in refugee-hosting regions. In other story, Indonesia has officially recognized former president and late dictator Suharto as national hero. Suharto, who ruled the country from 1967 to 1998, faced long-standing allegations of corruption and violent crackdowns on political dissent. He joins 9 other newly honored figures, including slain labor activist Marsina and former President Abdurrahman Wahid. President Prabowo Subianto, Suharto's former son-in-law, presided over the National Hero Day ceremony. Prabowo's office emphasized that the president has the authority to bestow the title despite public opposition. Suharto's children attended the event, with his daughter Siti Hardianti Rukmana praising her father's lifelong contributions to Indonesia. The decision has drawn criticism from civil society groups, activists, and academics. Around 500 members of these communities signed a letter urging Prabowo to reconsider, arguing that honoring Suharto would betray democratic values and distort history. Rights group Contras condemned the move, saying it normalizes impunity for past human rights abuses. Government officials defended the designation, stating it honors leaders who have made significant contributions to the nation. The inclusion of Suharto highlights the ongoing debate in Indonesia over how to reconcile the country's authoritarian past with its present democratic principles. And finally, in the news outside the country, China has pledged $142 million in aid to the Philippines to support recovery from typhoons Tino and Yuan. The assistance includes $1 million in cash and 83 million pesos in relief goods, reflecting humanitarian support and bilateral friendship. The Chinese embassy expressed hope that Filipinos in disaster-stricken areas will recover and rebuild their homes soon, and extended condolences to victims and affected families. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian stated that China mourns the lives lost and extends sympathy to families whose loved ones died or went missing, emphasizing solidarity with those impacted by the storms. According to the Philippine National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, Typhoon Tino killed 232 and affected over 4.1 million, while Yuan killed 27 and impacted more than 3.5 million across 16 regions. China's donation underscores international support as the Philippines continues to recover. And that's all for the News at 12, November 18, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our news writer, LJ Lurejo and Naomi Ruth Hernandez. And on the technical side, Chad Bobis. Our Provincial Information Officer, OIC Marty Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor, Noelle Rosal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing.